Hey scholars! So in the next problems, we are going to be labeling number lines in wholes, tenths, and hundreds. In these number lines, we are going to be labeling them as decimals. But remember from our review today that we can write decimals as fractions too. So there are many ways we can write numbers. But in this one, we're just going to do decimals. So the first thing that we're going to do is move our magnifying glass to two whole numbers that we want to zoom in on. And then we're going to zoom in twice. One to look at our tenths and another time to look at our hundredths. And we're going to label each of them. So the first thing that I need to do is start with my wholes. Now this one's the easiest one. So I'm going to go ahead and label my wholes. And I remember that I always need to start with 0. I'm going to pause really quickly and label that for us. All right, Scholar. I've already gone ahead and labeled my number line 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is probably the easiest part for all of us. Now I'm going to choose two whole numbers that I'm going to zoom in on. So I'm going to use my magnifying glass and I'm going to choose for this example 2 and 3. Because I chose 2 and 3, I'm going to highlight them so I don't forget. I know that my next number line is going to start with 2, and it's also going to end with 3. I also know that each of my lines is going to have and start with a 2. So here's an example. My numbers line is going to start with 2, but I also know that my next line is going to have 2 and there's my decimal point because I need to label it in tenths. So the next one will also have 2 and. I'm going to go ahead and add that to all of them, and then I'll be right back. All right, now that I've had all of my lines with 2 and, except this last one, because remember, this last one ends with a 3. So I'm going to go ahead and put 3 here. So I start with 2, so all of my lines will have 2 and, 2 and, 2 and. And now all I'm going to do is count like I normally do. 2 and 0 would be right here. So the next one would be 2 and 1 tenths, 2 and 2 tenths, 2 and 3 tenths, 2 and 4 tenths, 2 and 5 tenths. And I'm going to keep on going until I fill it out and get to 2 and 9 tenths. All right, I've gone ahead and put all of my numbers in, and I noticed that my number line's kind of going over, so I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit smaller and adjust it so that it fits right where I need to in each of these lines. All right, so now if I read that I have 2, 2 and 1 tenths, 2 and 2 tenths, 2 and 3 tenths, 2 and 4 tenths, 2 and 5 tenths, 2 and 6 tenths, 2 and 7 tenths, 2 and 8 tenths, 2 and 9 tenths, and the next one would be 3 and 0 tenths. All right, now that I have my tenths in order, I'm going to now use my other zoom, and I'm going to choose whichever one I want to zoom in on. I'm going to go ahead and choose 2 and 4 tenths and 2 and 5 tenths. And this time, I'm also going to highlight them, so I want to zoom in on these. And I'm going to do the same thing I did up here. It's going to start with 2 and 4 tenths, and it's going to end in 2 and 5 tenths. And just like I had done up here, I know that each of these lines are going to have the number 2 and 4. So I'm going to go ahead and add 2 and 4 to all of these until I get to here, and it will be 2 and 5 tenths. All right, now that I have it all labeled, I know that I have 2 and 4 tenths in all of them. And I'm going to do the same thing I did up here. And I have 2 and 4 40 hundredths would start right here. So I'm just going to add like I normally do. 2 and 41 hundredths, 2 and 42 hundredths, 2 and 43 hundredths, 2 and 44 hundredths, until I get to 2 and 50 hundredths. All right, so now I have my number line labeled in hundreds. Note that they all have 2 and 4 in all of them, and all I added was how I normally count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it goes to my next one.